cholinga chotukula ntchito za ulimi kuti alimi akhale ndi upangiri okwanira, za maphunziro kuti ophunzira alandire maphunziro oyenera, zosamalira chilengedwe kuti anthu apewe mchitidwe wodzetsa kusintha kwa nyengo, za umoyo kuti anthu alandire thandizo la kuchipatala moyenera komanso mu nthawi yache, za chitetezo kuti anthu athandizidwe ndi apolisi mopanda chinyengo, kusamalira ovutika kuti athe kudziyimira paokha ndi kutenga nawo mbali pa chitukuko, ndinso ntchito za madzi kuti anthu akhale ndi madzi aukhondo ndi kupewa matenda. Ndondomekoyi ithandiza kuonetsetsa kuti anthu akutumikiridwa mosapsinja maufulu awo kuti miyoyo yawo itukuke. Pitani kuti mukadziwe zambiri za mmene ndondomekozi zimagwirira ntchito.
Uthengawu akukupatsirani da Human Rights Resource Center mogwirizana.
Glad you could join us for 7:30 News Bulletin. My name is Fales Chizombe. First, a look at our top stories.
Pope Francis donates 4 ambulances to Ukraine. Cagliati denies plot to assassinate Chakwera. Kabambe's prayer to be spared from prosecution falls off. And in other news, dozens died, homes destroyed in flooding in the DR Congo capital.
We have these and more. Stay with us. Pope Francis has donated 4 ambulances to Ukraine, which will be deployed in the hardest hit areas affected by the war. The vehicles bear the Vatican's coat of arms and are a concrete gesture of the Pope's closeness and concern for those suffering. Cardinal Konrad Krajewski, the papal armorer, will deliver the ambulances accompanied by 3 Ukrainian drivers to areas with active fighting. We have a correct report read by Charity Chinanga.
This donation is part of the Pope's efforts to provide humanitarian aid to Ukraine, where the war has caused devastating effects. Cardinal Krajewski has visited Ukraine over a dozen times since 2022, demonstrating the Pope's commitment to supporting the country. The ambulances are equipped with medical equipment to save lives and will be used in war zones. The Pope's gesture is a sign of jubilee hope, emphasizing the importance of breaking down barriers and bringing light to those affected by the conflict. In his 2024 Abi et Obi message, Pope Francis highlighted that only Jesus opens the door to life, those doors we keep shutting with the wars spreading throughout the world. As the war in Ukraine marks its 3rd year, Pope Francis continues to appeal for peace, remembering the Eastern European country in his angelus prayer and appeals for peace. His efforts extend beyond Ukraine as he also mentions Palestine, Israel, Myanmar, Kivu, and Sudan in his prayers. Cardinal Krajewski's mission is to deliver the ambulances in his 10th trip to Ukraine, further demonstrating the Pope's commitment to providing aid. The ambulances will serve as a symbol of hope for the people affected by the war. In a telephone conversation with Sergei Lavrov, the Russian Foreign Affairs Minister, Archbishop Paul Richard Garaga discussed the Pope's efforts to promote peace. This conversation highlights the Vatican's diplomatic efforts to address the conflict. The Pope's donation of ambulances to Ukraine showcases his dedication to providing humanitarian aid and promoting peace in regions affected by conflict. The gesture serves as a reminder of the importance of compassion and support for those suffering.
The Association of Christian Educators in Malawi has expressed commitment to providing holistic education that encompasses academic, social, moral, and spiritual development among its students. This commitment was reiterated during the association's annual general meeting, where Bishop Martin Ntumbuka, as chairperson, outlined the organization's priorities for the upcoming year. Emmanuel Chocha read a report read by Charity Chilanga.
Bishop Ntumbuka said ACEM has introduced several initiatives to promote holistic education in Malawi by integrating Christian values into the educational framework, promoting a well-rounded education that prepares students for life. He said ACEM is working closely with the government to promote these Christian values in schools and enhance education quality. Bishop Ntumbuka emphasized the importance of education in the Christian church, noting that well-educated individuals better create an inclusive environment that fosters academic, social, moral and spiritual growth for all students.
This way we have a very good working relationship with the government regarding the running of our schools. We talked about it today. We need to do more. The government grants us all the freedom to cherish or promote Christian values in our schools, and we are very grateful for that. But we need to do more so that the young people going to our schools don't just learn secular subjects, mathematics, geography, but they also know what it means to be a Christian. And those who are not Christian, they are not being compelled to become Christian, but by looking at how beautiful and nice it is to be a Christian, we hope they'll become Christian.
ACEM Executive Director Brother Pascum Tuana said the association's goal is to enhance education policies and support for its schools through mutual understanding and cooperation with the government.
The current challenge they are facing is one of commitment to the pledges they make, especially setting up a permanent secretariat. That's what I have observed, but also communication with their institutions in order to gather, let's say, information and to dictate policies. So that's one of the other challenges that they face.
ACEM's primary purpose is to facilitate collaboration among Christian educational institutions, particularly those owned by Malawi Council of Churches and the Malawi Conference of Catholic Bishops. This collaboration aims to enhance their engagement with the government in educational matters, allowing them to operate as a unified body in addressing educational challenges and influencing education policy in their schools.
The Bible verses reciting game fascinated Bible enthusiasts at Maula Cathedral in Lilongwe yesterday, as its popularity continues to grow beyond Nigeria and reach other Christian communities like Malawi. Its creator, Christian Benedict Iker, described BivLeague as a creative platform that encourages participants to engage with the Bible one verse at a time, all within the excitement of a well-organized interactive competition. Richard Maluka has more in this report.
Eke said that the game is designed to enhance participants' knowledge of the scriptures, serving not only as a fun activity, but also as a spiritual enrichment too. He said it also promotes a deeper understanding of the Word of God and encourages regular Bible reading in a memorable and engaging way. One of the participants, Jonas Osai, expressed his enthusiasm, saying the game would definitely help him gain in-depth knowledge of the Bible. Beverage was conceived in 1995 but was officially launched on April 7th, 2024 in Aba, Abia State, Nigeria. Now gaining popularity across Africa, the game is being adopted by churches and Christian organizations as a powerful tool to foster biblical literacy and spiritual growth. Bridget Mwanoka, for Luntha News.
The parish priest of St. Mary's in Zama Parish in the Catholic Diocese of Delta has called on well-wishers to support efforts to construct a new church building following the destruction of the previous one by Cyclone Freddy in 2022. During a mass held on Sunday at St. Cecilia Liada Outstation, Father Innocent Kayumbu commended the unwavering spirit of parishioners who have been actively involved in the rebuilding process, molding bricks and blocks, gathering stones, and contributing financially during Sunday services. Despite their efforts, he emphasized the continued need for vital construction materials, especially iron sheets and roofing supplies, to complete the church. Andrew Nandoro filed a report read in our studios by Jeanne Ngalandi Bernard.
Cyclone Freddy, that hit Malawi in March 2022, left many sectors devastated. The devastation did not spare churches. St. Cecilia Liada outstation of Nzama Parish was blown away, leaving the faithful praying under a temporary shade, which is life-threatening to the congregation, especially during rainy season. Father Kanyumbu said those wishing to assist should go through Nzama Parish. He said the faithful are trying hard, hence need support to make sure the house of God is completed.
We have gathered the stones, sand, river sand, and we are also contributing. We are also having a farm, Irish potato, and maize, beans, so that from these, after selling these, we can have some money and try to buy some other materials which are required for the construction of the new church here. Actually, we are looking for a cement, iron sheets. Cement and iron sheets, that's what we are lacking. You can reach us at Nzama Parish, PO Box 44 in Cheu, but also on 0999 378656.
In his remarks, chairperson for St. Cecilia Liada Church, Enoch Due, thanked his fellow faithfuls for coming together to construct a new church. He said they have enough stones, sand, and bricks, a thing which he said, if supported, soon the work will be completed. Due lamented that the accident has affected their activities as Christians.
Kwambiri zalisokonezadi pazochitika zathu chifukwa pachalichi pamafuna pazichitika zitosiyana monga mibindikiro mwina Khristu timenena kuti zachesa nda zathu mwina monga makwaya amene padakali pano chokasaka zimesisi sitilandira alendo nalonse kuti mwina akhoza kuona kuzaphunzitsana nawo ndi kupanga zina zoyenera kuchita monga church. Khristu tikwalimbikisa kuti poti amati fumbi ndiwe mwini kuti aliyense payekha azindikire kufunika kumanga nyumba ya Mulungu.
St. Cecilia Liada Outstation, opened in 1902, was the first outstation after the opening of St. Mary's in Nzama Parish in 1901 by Montfort missionaries. Currently, the outstation has a population of 3,000 Catholics.
UTM Presidential Advisor on Political Affairs Patricia Kaliati has repudiated being part of a plot to assassinate President Dr. Joseph Chakwera with two little-known accomplices in conspiracy that the state alleges was exposed through recorded phone calls. Kaliati's charges include allegations that she conspired with one Joseph Odala and Frank Chinedu to kill Chakwera. She was arrested in October last year. We have more in this report.
On Tuesday, the case proceeded to plea taking. after 5 months since the court last sat on the matter. Taking her plea, Kaliati denied to have taken part in the plot to assassinate President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. In an interview, defense lawyer Kwima Mchizi said that they have received the testimonial documents from the state and they are under microscope. State prosecutor Levson Mangani has told the court that the documents contain 15 witnesses which the state plans to parade when the case commences. Kariati was arrested in October on suspicions that she conspired with 2 other individuals to kill President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. While she spent 4 nights in police custody, her accomplices were reported to be at large. Her arrest drew mixed political theories, with UTM party claiming that it was politically motivated. By the time of her arrest, Kaliati had expressed interest to vie for the UTM presidency after the death of the party's founder, Saulos Chilima, which left the presidential seat vacant.
Financial Crimes Division of the High Court in Lilongwe has trashed the former Reserve Bank of Malawi Governor Daliso Kabambe and his deputy Henry Matanga's argument that they are immune to criminal prosecution under the RBM Act. High Court judge hearing the IMF misreporting case, Professor Redson Kapindu, agreed with state lawyers who argued that any person who did criminal act can be prosecuted. Kapindu's ruling formed the basis of adjournment in the 11.5 billion kwacha COVID gate case, which is also involving Kabambe, to June 27th to give chance to lawyers to study Kapindu ruling as they were to apply that Kabambe and Matanga should be prosecuted because they are immune to criminal prosecution under the RBM Act before Justice Violet Chipao, who is hearing the COVID gate case. One of the state lawyers, Kandon Chinsuru, says lawyers representing another accused person, a former finance minister Joseph Monamveka, Dr. Kaleken Kapari, made his application for specific disclosures, and Chipao will rule on his application on the rated 27th June. This is part of what Nyusuru said.
On Friday last week, we appeared before Justice Kapindu in the case of misreporting to IMF. This was because Kabambe and Matanga had applied to say they have immunity under the Reserve Bank of Malawi Act. So when we finished the arguments on Friday, Justice Kapindu, who was aware that today we are going to have a similar application before Justice Chipao in the COVID-19 funds abuse case. So he decided that he was going to deliver the ruling 8 o'clock this morning. And he delivered that ruling at 8 o'clock in the morning, at 9 o'clock in the morning. So when we started the case before Justice Chipao, the COVID funds one, it was after that ruling, and it was felt that the ruling had changed our arguments, both from the state and from the defense. So we did not proceed with the applications today, so that we can first of all study the ruling of Justice Kapindu to see whether the applications for today should go ahead or should die a natural death. So she has adjourned to June for the defense to look at the ruling and see if they want to continue with the application.
You are still watching news on Luntha TV with me, Fale Chizombe. Before we proceed, a look at our top stories once more.
Pope Francis donates 4 ambulances to Ukraine. Kaliati denies plot to assassinate Chakwera. Kabambe's prayer to be spared from prosecution falls off. And in other news, dozens dead, homes destroyed in flooding in the DR Congo capital.
Moving forward, Malawi Electoral Commission Chairperson Justice Annabel Ntalimanja has assured Malawians that the integrity of the voter registration remains intact despite recent concerns over missing names in the voters' database. Speaking during a press briefing held at the Bingo International Convention Center in Lilongwe, Justice Ntalimanja said the Commission has thoroughly followed up on the issue and established that the voters' names were not lost but their names were not in the provision voters roll. She clarified that 19 individuals had experienced challenges in transferring their names due to late registration. The issue has been rectified and the Commission is doing everything in accordance with the law and within the required timeline. Gift Karonga has filed this report.
Justice Ntalimanja assured the nation that voters' register remains intact, despite recent concerns over names not being reflected in the system. Ntalimanja explained that the Commission had thoroughly investigated the matter and found that 19 individuals had encountered challenges in transferring their voter details due to late registration. She emphasized that the issue has been addressed and the Commission is working within legal framework and set timelines. The Commission is expected to facilitate the transfer of the 19 affected voters on April 15, 2025. The briefing also served to update the public on the ongoing voter transfer and inspection exercise. Also to update the nation on MEC's preparation for the upcoming elections. Justice Ntalimanja has since argued all registered voters to verify their details and report any discrepancies promptly. For Luntha News, this is Gift Kalonga.
Malawi's Information Minister Moses Kunkuyu has reviewed the plans to build new communication towers nationwide to enhance network coverage, with funding secured through the newly approved budget. The project is intended to tackle the persistent problem of inadequate communication services throughout the country. Patrick Pupa has more in this report.
Minister of Information Moses Kunkuyu has assured Malawians that his ministry is working closely with key stakeholders, including TNM Limited, Airtel Malawi Limited, to resolve challenges related to network coverage. This follows concerns raised in Parliament by Cholo Tava MP Hon Mary Navicha, who pointed out persistent network issues in some areas. Despite notable growth in Malawi's telecommunications industry, driven by major providers such as Airtel Malawi and TNM, the government is pushing to further expand network infrastructure and boost internet accessibility to close the digital divide.
We appreciate as a government the need to have all parts of the country adequately covered with telecommunication network. That has been the wish of President Lazarus and has said time and again that he wants to turn this country into a digitally driven country. And pursuing that agenda, network towers have to be constructed across the country. We have sources that we do draw from the Universal Service Fund, but we also do this in collaboration with our operators in the country.
Hon Mary Navicha has urged the ministry to expedite the implementation of these developments, especially as the country prepares for the tripartite elections scheduled for 16 September 2025.
Indeed, this morning, I stood up in the House to ask a question to the Minister of Information and Digitalization issues regarding to construction of towers. I have in mind in my constituency, in the area of Senior Chief Input and Sub-TA, people are struggling to have access to phone calls or internet, even mobile banking. So I was reminding the Honorable Minister to consider the people of Sub-TA, Mlenga and Senior Chief Mpuga.
The Malawian government remains committed to ensuring universal access to fast and reliable internet, acknowledging its critical role in today's digital world. For Luntha News, I'm Patrick Pupa.
Parliament has passed the Tourism Industry Bill, which seeks to enhance the tourism industry in Malawi. The bill establishes a legal framework for the development of a robust and sustainable tourism sector. The bill establishes the Malawi Tourism Authority to regulate the sector and promote Malawi as a top tourist destination locally and internationally. Not only does the bill set up the Malawi College of Tourism as the government's primary tourism professional training institution with defined functions and powers, but also establishes legislation and licensing framework for tourism enterprises, establishments and practitioners to ensure industry standards. Meanwhile, Chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Industry, Trade and Tourism, Paul Nkoma, says the bill is crucial in achieving the Malawi 2063. Here's part of what Nkoma had to say.
Today, Parliament passed a very progressive bill in the tourism industry. As you know, one of our key development strategies, strategy to develop our country as well as to generate forex, is to promote tourism. And in the ATM strategy, the T stands for tourism. Yet, the law that we were using was enacted in 1968, 57 years ago. Now, a lot of things have happened in between in terms of how to promote tourism, how to market ourselves, and how to provide services in the industry. What has happened today is that we have modernized our tourism sector, brought the tourism sector closer to what others are doing. You can imagine that nearly 60 years of a law where the industry is changing and has changed quite a lot. It was obviously an outdated law that we had. So what we did today is to bring ourselves to modernity.
And in other news, flooding in Kinshasa, the capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo, has resulted in over 30 deaths after torrential rains swept through the city over the weekend. The Njoro River, which runs through the city of approximately 17 million people, burst its banks on Friday night, flooding hundreds of buildings and trapping numerous residents in their homes. Charity Chilanga reading an African News Report.
Authorities launched a massive evacuation and support operation on Monday to aid those affected by the disaster. Emergency services are working tirelessly to reach stranded residents and provide necessary assistance. According to officials, most fatalities were caused by collapsing walls shortly after the flooding began. The force of the rushing water led to structural failures, resulting in tragic consequences. Many residents have expressed frustration with the government's response to the disaster, citing a slow reaction time. This criticism comes as the city struggles to cope with the aftermath of the flooding. While the situation has improved slightly since Monday morning, some access roads remain blocked and traffic is limited. This is hindering relief efforts and making it challenging for emergency services to reach all affected areas. The flooding has highlighted the need for effective disaster management and response systems in Kinshasa. The city's vulnerability to natural disasters underscores the importance of preparedness and swift action to mitigate the impact of such events. As the city continues to recover from the devastating flood, relief efforts are ongoing. Authorities are working to provide support to those affected and restore normalcy to the community.
That news item brings us to the end of our today's news bulletin. A look at our top stories before we go.
Pope Francis donates 4 ambulances to Ukraine. Cagliari denies plot to assassinate Chakwera. Kabambe's prayer to be spared from prosecution falls off. And in other news, Dozens dead, homes destroyed in flooding in the DR Congo capital.
I've been Fales Chizombe. Thank you so much for watching, and keep on watching the list of our programs here on Luntha TV, and goodbye.